2025 Ram 1500, or well-qualified current FCA lessees can lease Ram 1500 for $385 a month.
At Spectrum, we believe every day unlocks unlimited possibilities to bring you closer to the people and places you love. Spectrum transforms your gaming experience into a galaxy of adventures. And with the fastest, most reliable internet, you're always front row to the entertainment you love, no matter where you are. Get Spectrum Internet Advantage for $20 per month plus a 3-year price guarantee. Call 1-833-294-0246. Spectrum Internet gives you the power to stream all the shows, movies, and sports you love.
Get a great deal on a powerful Ram Heavy Duty or Ram 1500 Motor Trend's 2025 Truck of the Year.
Current owners of select competitive vehicles can finance and get $11,000 total cash allowance on the 2025 Ram 1500, or well-qualified current FCA lessees can lease Ram 1500 for $385 a month.
Now at 8, breaking news tonight as the sports world mourns the loss of boxing legend George Foreman. Danny?
Hi, Susie. Good evening, everyone. We are gearing up for a beautiful weekend, but a significant warm-up. We are talking 80s, even 90s in your next weather, Mike.
Hey, Danny, here at the desk, a very serious situation unfolding in Pacoima. 60 homes evacuated. How the fire department says they're going to keep that community safe. Kcal News at 8 on this Friday night starts right now.
This is Kcal News, Los Angeles.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Kcal News at 8. I'm Susie Sa. We begin tonight with some sad news. Breaking news. George Foreman, one of the most influential and recognizable boxers of all time, has died. His family making the announcement on his social media account tonight. Kcal News Sports Director Jim Hill joins us now with a look back at his incredible life and legacy. Jim?
He was a terrific fighter. He was a good man. He was a great friend, too.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And when we think about it, my friends, he was one of the great heavyweight champions of all time in boxing, breaking through as a young man and later winning a championship again in his 40s. George Foreman also became a celebrated pitchman, recognizable to young and old, becoming one of the great crossover stars in sports history. As a young man, he was a feared and terrifying athlete. Later, he would become a lovable and engaging figure in sport and cooking. George Foreman lived two identities in his career, transforming himself from a boxer best known for his scowl to a lovable underdog with a smile and a laugh for all. But through it all, Foreman reached the pinnacles of his professions, becoming an icon in the boxing ring and a celebrated pitchman of appliances found in so many of our kitchens. George Foreman was born in Marshall, Texas in 1949 and grew up in Houston with 6 siblings. He dropped out of school at the age of 15, spending time as a street mugger before a change of heart saw him sign up with the Job Corps, earning his GED the next year. After moving to Pleasanton, California, his boxing career really began and flourished instantly. After only 25 amateur fights, he won the gold medal in the 1968 Olympics at the age of 19. And during those turbulent times, he received extra attention when he brandished an American flag after his win, saying, quote, "I was letting everyone know who I was, and at the same time saying I was proud to be an American." The professional ranks beckoned as Foreman began his fast track to stardom, demolishing opponents and putting together a record of 32-0 with 29 knockouts. And that led to a shot at the heavyweight championship held by Smokin' Joe Frazier in January of 1973. And Foreman there left no doubt as to who was the next star, dominating the fight as announcer Howard Cosell made the unforgettable call.
Angie Dundee, Ali's trainer, right next to me is saying it. You may hear him. Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier!
He became one of the most feared punchers in all of boxing and eventually set up perhaps the most famous bout in history with Muhammad Ali challenging Big George in the Rumble in the Jungle in 1974. Big George was a 4-1 favorite, with some even worrying about the health of the former champion. But using the famous rope-a-dope defense, Ali tired Foreman, who wasted energy on big shots that hit air. And with George now exhausted, Ali finished Foreman off in the 8th round, setting up a wild scene in Kinshasa, Zaire. The loss upended the trajectory of his career, with George eventually leaving boxing in 1977. After his last fight, Foreman described a near-death experience in the locker room, sensing God asked him to change his life. Foreman became a born-again Christian and minister, dedicating his life for the next decade to God. In 1987, Foreman surprised the boxing world when he announced a comeback. He also came back with a new persona, now smiling and friendly. starting at a weight of